Good afternoon, Los Santos. Dan Dorfman here with your weekend Weazel News Update. And we're sitting in our studios here in the lovely Rockford Hills area of Los Santos. It's been a very active news weekend, a very active news week. A lot of stories that we're working on, we're following up on as we continue to roll forward. A lot of different investigations out there, open-ended cases that need to be solved by the police department, and just general news that we've found as we've been running around the city, doing our discovery, doing the best of our work here. You'll notice today, if you haven't gone outside today, it's a beautiful, beautiful day here in Los Santos. The skies are clear, just about a little bit of low-hanging clouds, but overall the weather's been fairly pleasant. And it's a good thing because as we come across in the days and few days we have to go here where we approach the burial of Medic Grendel, the city's heart is kind of at a very, very low point. And I think one of the things that we want to leave with all the citizens here in Los Santos is that all of these burdens, all of these things that are out there that are plaguing us, they're things that are within our control. We can, as a community, decide to be better, to do better, to be out there and look after our neighbors and to provide the good stories that are out there that are more reflective of the citizens of this great state and this beautiful city. Now, as we start talking about the week in review, I think one of the things that really seems to capture the mind of the city or the attention of the city this week has been the increased robberies that we've had at many of the 24/7 stores throughout Los Santos, as well as the limited LTD gas stations that you see along the side of the road, whether it be up in Rockford Hills or over off of Sonoma Parkway. Now, the robbery increase has left the local business owners, the franchisees, a little bit nervous. They've been working very carefully with the police department, cooperating fully in all investigations which are currently ongoing. And while a few suspects have been taken into custody, we can clearly state that not very many of the perpetrators have been caught. It's a constant cat and mouse game with the police, one that has each side constantly trying and shifting new tactics. However, it's the business owner that is the one that has suffered. They're the one that's left holding the bag. And it's not just cash, by the way, that these criminals are taking. As we found out last night in a news report that we did here, Dan Dorfman with the Dorfman Files on the 11 o'clock news in Los Santos, we were at the LTD Limited and rolled in just after the police cleared the building and made sure that there were no perpetrators or suspects still within inside. As we went inside the building with the permission of the building owner, we were able to observe the crime scene and able to determine quickly that something was amiss along the douche beer aisle. It was there that your key news reporter Dan Dorfman observed that there were several packs of douche beer that seemed to be out of place or missing. And the area on the counter that was clearly marked and labeled home pregnancy tests were completely cleaned out and replaced by tuna. So needless to say, the police have their work cut out for them as they go to thwart perhaps a major crime spree about to happen here within Los Santos, deeper and darker than the one that might be right on the face with the smash and grabs and the safe cracking and all of that nonsense. No, these desperate criminals are out there. Before they leave the store, they grab themselves at least one douche and all of the home pregnancy tests that they can carry. Just let your mind wander. If you're a businessman in Los Santos, can you imagine getting that phone call that says, you're going to give me a pay raise or I'm going to let the board of trustees know that you are the baby daddy? Or perhaps it's even worse and more nefarious. You come home and your wife tells you that she's not pregnant when you know for doggone sure she's 9 months or, getting ready to burst. We're talking about serious crimes here. Now, this particular type of crime has definitely been out on the rise, and it's been drawing attention of the police away from bigger and more difficult issues the city has to face, which leads us into our next story. And that is that the death of Councilman Preston and his wife. Now, originally, we did this particular story on Monday of last week, and it was at this time a week ago, Monday, that we introduced you to the original death of the councilman, that the coroner's report had initially been released, and while there was no determination at the time that there was foul play, needless to say, the police have been working this particular angle feverishly to find out what was involved, and was foul play perhaps something they need to be thinking about as it relates to this particular death. It turns out that the bodies over 2 weeks ago were found out there on Catfish Cove, floating in the water. And when they were retrieved by the San Andreas State Police and the Marine units, they were brought into the medical examiner's office where they underwent a wide series of forensics. However, that particular report we do not believe has been completed or done yet. But the city council all remain very gravely concerned, all looking into various interests and various reasons as to why the death of the councilman and the circumstances surrounding it. We can say that likely now the police believe that there was foul play involved, and they have opened up a criminal investigation into the particular murders. Anyone that has any information as to the death of Councilman Preston or his lovely wife should contact the San Andreas State Police immediately at their tip line. That's 555-1212, or they prefer you to just call 911. That's 911 for you people who are up in Sandy Shores. And if you want to call us here at the station as a second line, you can get in contact with our hot news line, and that's going to be at 202-7335. That's the news desk, 202-7335. And for you people up in Sandy Shores, that's 202-7335. Now, for our last story of the weekend that we want to wrap up here, the $100,000 reward is still available to anyone who has information which leads to the arrest of the perpetrator or perpetrators that made an attempted murder assault on the police officers up at the Sandy Shores BCSO. And to claim that, you need to get your tips in, put your tip in, and make sure it's only the tip, but put the tip in up there to the Mission Row San Andreas State Police Office. You can do so. You can put an anonymous tip in, or you can wrap that tip up and give it to someone personally, what have you. Let them know that you're interested in the reward money, and if the lead that you provide leads to the arrest or conviction of those particular persons responsible for assaulting the police officers, for attempting to take their life, $100,000 reward is headed your way, and I believe that's going to be tax exempt too, which is thrilling. Now, if you have a weak stomach, if you're not sure, we're about to show some disturbing video taken from the police cameras that were there on site. So please turn off your TV set or look away for the next 30 seconds while we run the particular footage for those who are interested in viewing. Okay, let's go ahead. That's going to be number 10. Number 10 in the studio in the back room. Go ahead and cue that.
Oh boy.
222, 1022, that last. 1022, that last. County 481, final call. County 481, final
Fucking
call.
pig! Fucking pig!
Shots fired, shots fired! Shots fired, shots fired!
Shots fired,
Fuck.
Sandy.
Fuck.
475 responding. 475
What's your
responding.
20? What's your 20?
Okay, cut.
13, 13,
Cut,
13,
cut.
13.
As you can see there, as you can see in the video footage taken from the police department itself, handed over to Weazel News as an exclusive. The scene was violent. It was chaotic. No police officer deserves to go home in this, riddled with bullets. They do deserve to go home, but not to go home in the way that not to be shot up, not to be assaulted like this. They're out there doing a job, a hard job. They're the thin gray line that stands between us and the darkness. So let's keep our San Andreas State Police in our thoughts and prayers. And if you have any information, please definitely call us here at the tip line, 202-7335, and help us make sure we keep our officers safe and bring these people to justice. This has been Dan Dorfman with the Weazel Weekend News Update, and it's a privilege to come to you here. We hope we are able to continue to do so from the Rockford Tower, where we have our studio office here, and we look forward to bringing you a weekend news update each weekend. The news you need to hear, Los Santos, when you need to hear it. This is Dan Dorfman signing off.